Welcome back to the deep dive. We are heading back to Westeros today, but we're not, talking about dragons burning down cities or these massive armies clashing.
Not yet, anyways.
Not yet. We are focused squarely on A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and specifically Episode 3. And I have to say, something is really happening with this show. There is a momentum.
There is. And it's a hard thing to capture, especially for a spinoff where the expectations are just, sky high. If you were worried about a sophomore slump, you can forget that.
Yeah, that fear is gone. It really feels like the show is finding its feet in real time. But before we get into the plot, and we have a lot to unpack with that ending, I kind of want to talk about just the viewing experience.
That we're watching it.
Exactly. Because we're so used to the binge model, right? A season drops on a Friday, you're done by Sunday, and you've forgotten half of it by Tuesday.
It just turns art into content.
Yeah.
You're not experiencing it, you're just consuming it.
Yeah, you swallow it whole. But this weekly release, it feels different. The waiting period is actually helping. I found myself on like a Wednesday just thinking about the characters.
It lets the narrative breathe. Think about it. We're 3 episodes in. That's what, an hour and a half total?
About that, yeah.
In a movie, 90 minutes in, you might be checking your watch. But here, I feel like the connection to Dunk and Egg is already incredibly deep.
That is a great point. I feel like I know them better after 90 minutes than characters I've watched for 3 whole seasons of other shows.
And that's the episodic gap.
Yeah.
It forces you to sit with them, to let them settle in your mind. The investment becomes so much stronger than it could ever be in a 6-hour binge.
And episode 3 feels like the moment that investment really, pays off. It starts one way, all wholesome and adventurous, and it ends in a completely different emotional world.
A total pivot.
So that's our mission for this deep dive. We're going to unpack why this hour is such a turning point. We'll look at the egg phenomenon, the introduction of some villains we love to hate, and that huge shift from buddy comedy to high-stakes drama.
It's a classic move, but the execution is what makes it feel so inevitable, not jarring at all.
Let's start with the heart of the show then. We can talk about the tourney and the armor all day, but the real magic trick is the kid, Egg.
The breakout star, without a doubt.
And I want to be careful here, because usually when people talk about child actors, they're grading on a curve. It's always, a great performance for a child.
Right, it's a bit patronizing, like we'll accept bad acting if they're cute.
Exactly, but this is not that. This is just genuinely charismatic acting, full stop. The kid is incredible. What is it that's landing so hard, do you think?
It's the nuance. Usually child actors get one note to play. They're either precocious or they're helpless. But Egg is written and played like a real person. He's layered. He's defiant. He's smart. But he's also vulnerable. You can see his internal life on his face.
The wit, though, that's what really gets me. There's that one line.
Oh, I know the one.
In episode 3 where someone, rudely asks him, "What happened to your hair?"
Right.
And he just, with no hesitation at all, he just snaps back, "What happened to your eyes?"
It's so quick.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant. Sure, it's a great defense mechanism. But it's doing something more, isn't it? It's all about establishing his agency.
His agency? How so?
Well, think about his world. Egg is tiny. He's physically vulnerable in a world of giants in armor. If he tries to fight with his fists, he loses every time.
Right.
So he uses his mind. That quick wit isn't just him being sassy. It's his armor.
Yeah.
It tells the audience he's not just some passive sidekick. He's an active player who pushes back with the only weapon he has.
That's such a good distinction. He's not a prop, he's a player. And speaking of his delivery, I have a note here for you if you're listening. If you're watching a dubbed version in Spanish or Hindi or whatever, just pause. Go to your settings, switch to the original English audio.
I would second that heavily. You are missing half the performance if you don't.
You really are. You have to hear the nuance in Egg's actual voice.
Dubbing is great for, accessibility, but it translates the meaning. It can't always capture the texture. And the way Egg speaks, it's this mix of like a high-born education he's trying to hide with this street-smart grit he's trying to put on.
That tension in his voice tells you everything.
It tells you his whole backstory before the plot even gets there.
It's those details that make you just, fall in love with him, which we can't talk about that without talking about the sandwich.
The sandwich scene.
I felt a little silly putting this in the outline, but honestly, that scene was a highlight for me. Just Duncan, Egg, buying eggs, frying them up. It made me genuinely hungry. I wanted an egg sandwich right then and there.
You're not alone. But let's look at why that scene exists. It isn't just, food porn.
It felt like a pause button, like the whole world just stopped for a minute.
Precisely. It's about grounding. You can't care about high stakes about life and death if you don't see these characters as real people. And what's more real than worrying about lunch?
It's the complete anti-fantasy trope, isn't it? Heroes just ride for days and never eat.
Or food just appears in the tavern. Seeing them count their coppers, buy the ingredients, actually cook. It establishes a baseline of reality. It's the calm before the storm.
Structurally, it's doing a lot of work.
A ton. It humanizes them right before the chaos hits. It shows their bond is forged in these quiet, mundane moments, not just in battle.
So when things go wrong later, it feels so much worse. It's like, they were just happy, they were just eating a sandwich. Why did you have to ruin it?
And that's the manipulation. The show lulls you into this cozy feeling so that when the trouble arrives, it feels like a genuine violation. An intrusion.
Which leads us perfectly into the tone shift, because this episode does not stay cozy for long.
No, it absolutely does not.
It pivots hard. We go from cute vibes to cutthroat politics really, really fast, and the catalysts are some very familiar faces.
The Lannisters.
Enter the Lannisters. And we all know the reputation from Game of Thrones, but the way they're shown here,
yeah,
it felt visceral. They're operating in full betrayal mode from the second they're on screen.
It's interesting seeing them at this point in history. They're the ultimate climbers. And the show paints them as, you know, treacherous and cunning, but in a very specific way. They're not just evil. They're...
What, like bureaucratic evil?
Bureaucratic evil. I like that, yes. They aren't trying to beat Dunk in a fight. They're using rules, money, and influence to crush him.
They're punching down.
Massively.
Yeah.
And the visuals tell you everything. The clothes, the sneers.
Yeah.
You just know these people are trouble. They don't need a sword to hurt you.
They are so effectively hateable, and it just puts Dunk in this impossible position, this moral quagmire.
That's the core of his struggle, right? He wants to be a true knight. He believes in chivalry. But the obstacles he's facing aren't physical. He's fighting against a system.
He's realizing the game is rigged.
Completely. The Lannisters are there to prove the system is designed to keep people like him out. He's trying to play fair in a world that sees fairness as a weakness. That tension is the engine of the whole drama.
It's so frustrating to watch, but in the best way, and it all just feels so George R.R. Martin.
Oh, his fingerprints are all over this episode.
The Targaryen lore was woven in perfectly. It didn't feel like a history lesson. But we have to talk about the ending.
The twist.
The twist. Okay, no spoilers. We're not going to say what happens, but wow. I have to admit it, I was completely blindsided.
You really didn't see it coming?
Not at all. Jaw on the floor, mouth wide open. I was so caught up in the tournament politics and who was going to joust who that I didn't see the personal conflict sneaking up.
And that reaction is important because we live in an age of, like, internet detectives.
Yeah.
There are 1,000-hour videos connecting every dot.
Right.
But even if you avoid all that, the story just works on its own. You don't need a degree in Westerosi history to feel the shock of that moment. It hits hard on its own merit.
And it changes everything. Suddenly, this isn't about winning a tournament. It's personal.
That's the key. The stakes just went from professional to personal. And when you do that, the emotional weight just triples.
It goes from, I might lose my job, to I might lose my life.
Or worse, I might lose the person I care most about. And that is where Martin is a master. He knows exactly which dice to roll. It is manipulative writing, but in the absolute best way.
He knows how to hurt you.
He knows what buttons to push to leave you stunned.
Yeah.
It's like he builds this little sandcastle of comfort for you.
Here's a nice sandwich.
Look how nice it is. And then he just kicks it over. It makes the destruction feel earned.
So, looking ahead then, that ending, it wasn't a cheap cliffhanger, but man, it left me desperate for the next episode.
It was a conclusion that demanded a follow-up. It wasn't just tune in next week. It was a declaration that the entire world of the show has changed. The status quo is gone.
Yeah, my expectations for episode 4 have just skyrocketed. I'm just sitting here thinking, how on earth did they get out of this?
And this is where it gets really fun. Even if you know the lore, even if you know what's supposed to happen next.
The knowing versus the seeing.
Exactly. Knowing the destination doesn't ruin the journey when the craft is this good. The excitement is in how they execute it. You can feel the weight of this upcoming clash. We're not just watching a fight, we're watching everything we've talked about, the sandwich scene, the Lannisters, all of it collide.
It's going to be so intense. I can't wait. So, to wrap this up, best episode so far. Without a doubt, the ranking just keeps climbing.
It really is. It's confident, it's sharp, And it's just so emotionally resonant, it's hitting all the right notes.
And the big takeaway for me is how it balances that tone. It has this comic show spirit, it's lighter, it's fun, but it still hits these really deep emotional beats. It touches the heart.
It really does. It proves you don't need to be grimdark all the time to make a point. In fact, having that lightness makes the dark moments punch so much harder.
Absolutely. So here's a thought to leave everyone with. We're so used to fantasy epics being about, the end of the world.
Dragons, zombie armies, the sun going out, yep.
Right. But is it possible that the most compelling stories are actually found in the small stuff? Is watching two people share a sandwich before a fight actually more gripping than a CGI dragon burning a city?
That's the question, isn't it? We spend hundreds of millions on spectacle, but maybe we just want to see two people talking.
Does the smallness of the story actually make the stakes feel higher because they're so relatable? We've all had a friend, we've all been hungry, we haven't all fought a zombie.
When the world is small, every bruise matters. When the world is ending, one death is just a statistic. Here, a broken arm is a tragedy.
Exactly. I think that's why we're all hooked. Thanks for diving in with us. We will be back to break down episode 4 as soon as it drops.
Until then, enjoy the anticipation.